Ellie Dix here from the Dark Imp, helping parents to reclaim family time through playing board games together. Now, today I want to talk a little bit about what you do if you have younger children in your family. Of course, here at the Dark Imp, we really specialise in helping parents with teenage children and how to get the whole family playing together. But families don't always work like that. You may have much younger children as well as teenagers. And this wide age range can cause some people a little bit of anxiety, wondering what you can do with everybody and whether there are things that will suit the whole range. Well, you're in luck. There are lots of things. I suppose the first thing to say is when you're looking at different board games, take the age range that they say, or from age 8 upwards, or whatever the age is, with a giant pinch of salt. Let me give you an example. This is Age of War. It's a really good game. Really small, hardly any components, and in fact it doesn't even need to be in this size box. It's got about, I can't remember, about 16 cards or something in it, and a bunch of dice, 7 or 8 dice, and that's it. You could easily put it in a much lighter box, a little bag in your handbag or in your rucksack. It says on the box 14 plus. It's just ludicrous. It's a simple game. It's got some strategy in it, but it's essentially dice rolling, looking at the icon on the dice and matching it with icons on the tile. You have to decide how far to push your luck. You have to decide how many dice to keep and how many to stick, how many to rethrow. And you have to decide whether you're going to try and steal a card from somebody else or steal one or take one from the middle. That's sort of it. You're trying to collect sets of cards and the sets are worth points. It doesn't need to be 14 plus. You could play this with a 5-year-old. So do your research a little bit, have a look at the game, sort of ignore the ages on it. Okay, so that's Age of War, really good one for younger ones. So let's start with, let's carry on with Planet. There are lots of games that are sort of light strategic games that are really quite interesting, where you have to make all sorts of decisions, but there isn't really one strategy that works. There's not an optimal strategy. So at each stage you're making decisions that are going to give you points. It's a really difficult decision which sort of strategy is going to give you the most points. This is a good example of that. And this sort of game is great for younger children because they make a choice, they choose a tile, they put it somewhere, and they're going to get points pretty much regardless. It's just about how many they're going to get. In Planet, the scoring's done at the end, and lots of games that are really good for younger children, I think the scoring's at the end, because then they're taking part in the whole game and they aren't worried about, they don't really know who's winning. Nobody really knows who's winning, and so it keeps everybody invested in the game, and that's really, really nice. So in Planet, you have, this is a new game from 2018. You each have a sort of, I think it's a dodecagon. Oh dear, I should have checked that beforehand. With pentagons on each side, 12 pentagons, and you have these magnetic tiles that you collect. So you get 12, there are 12 rounds, you take 12 tiles, you place them on your planet, and then at the end of the game you do a variety of scoring. Very simple. And they'll get points no matter what. It's just about how many, really. Keeps everybody else interested as well. Another good example of this, Seven Wonders, is a bit more complicated. It says 10 plus, I think, on the box. You can definitely play it with younger children. It really is, there's a little bit more of a steep learning curve at the beginning because there's lots of icons, lots of different things on the cards that mean different things. But I tend to find that younger children pick it up quicker than older adults. And they're quite accepting of the different sorts of areas on the card referring to different things. It's a card drafting game, so that means you start with a hand, you choose one card and you pass the rest on, and then you choose a card from the hand that's given to you. and then you pay for the cards and you put them down and you build up a tableau in front of you. So you are responsible for your own tableau. There's minimal interaction with other players. You score up everything at the end. Nobody knows who's going to win. And you get points. You get points for all sorts of different things. It's sort of what we might refer to as a point salad game. There's lots of different ways to get points, which is really great for younger children because they can see the points that they're getting as they're building up. So as long as you think they can sit through the explanation, you might want to do it with them separately. Seven Wonders is a really good option as well. Classics, Ticket to Ride. This is building train routes across the map, whatever the map is. This one's Europe. There's loads of them. It's a really strong game. All ages really get on with it. I think it says 8+ on the box. You could easily play it with younger children. You probably want to do one-on-one first, just to show them. Maybe not. Maybe half a game. But really they're going to get used to it very easily, because all they've got to do is choose whether they're going to take some cards or play a train. Simple choices. They don't need to see the whole strategy. They don't need to see turns and turns in advance to be able to make good decisions on their turn. Ticket to Ride. This one says 8+, but you could easily play it with a 4-year-old. It's such a simple game. But it still engages adults because there's quite a lot of bluffing, pushing your luck, deciding how much to bet. It's a betting auction game. There's 2 phases. First of all, you pay to try and get property at the best sort of rate, and then you sell your property for the best value. It's a very simple mechanism. It takes about 5 minutes really to explain to somebody, and you can get it on the table and play it with all different ages. Really good fun for sale. Welcome To is a roll and write game. Roll and writes not always, but tend to be on individual player boards. So you have your own sort of piece of paper that you're writing on, and everybody's looking at, well, roll and writes are usually dice, that's why it's called roll. This one's got cards. Everybody uses the same cards, but decides how to use them on their own individual board. All you really need to be able to do to play this game is to understand numbers, and I mean 1 to 15. It says 10, I think, yeah, 10+. You could easily do it with a 5-year-old if they've got good number recognition, because it's not at all difficult. And again, you count up at the end. You make all the decisions yourself. You only have an impact on what you do. So it's really nice, personal thing. But also great with, to stop children arguing with each other because they're playing on their own board. Dominion says 14+ on it. Ignore that. This is a lovely game. It's a classic deck building game. So you have a set of cards and you use your cards to buy other cards, and there's a pool of cards that you choose from, which is different every time you play. You choose which cards you buy, and the cards you buy then make your deck more powerful, and you keep going through your deck playing cards from your hand to try and get the most victory points and try and get the most cards which will ultimately help you get victory points. Very simple. You pick 5 cards up, you play an action, you buy a card, or as many cards as you can. That's the rules. All the rules for each card, the explanation for each card, are on the cards. And at the beginning of each game, you can spend 10 minutes making sure that younger children understand how to play each card. 14 is ridiculous. You can easily play it with... I'm trying to think, when I first started playing Dominion with my youngest, I think he must have been about 7. So, I mean, I would say 7 for sure. Dominion. All of this, of course, is presuming that you as an adult have learnt the game before. You need to know the game pretty well so you can teach it in the best way that you know your child's going to understand it. Okay. Finally, Pandemic. Now, Pandemic is more complicated. I don't even know what age it says on here. 13+. But it's a cooperative game. In Pandemic, and a cooperative game is where you play together as a family or as a group, and you work together to try and beat the game. In this game, you're different specialists, maybe a medic, a scientist, an operations manager, who are working, and a researcher, who are working together to try and stop the spread of infection of diseases around the globe. You kind of dart around the map, treating infections and trying to cure diseases, and doing various things on the way which will help you get there. Pandemic is a little bit more complicated, but you can play with your cards face up on the table so everybody can see. It doesn't say that in the rules, but you can. You don't lose anything, in my opinion, doing that. You just want to be a little bit careful that no older child or adult starts to make decisions for the younger child. You need to try and include the younger child, but they can still, be helped with the decision making, and they can still really have a vital role in the game. So that's Pandemic. This is an older version of Pandemic. The box doesn't look like this anymore, but it's the same game. Right, that's it. I'll do some more games for younger children as well, or ones that you can play with younger children later on. Thank you for watching. See you soon.